If you take down that one incident from Brazil, wasn't it overall enjoyable? No, you don't understand. Like, the entire Brazil experience was miserable for me. Like, every single waking moment after the first week was, like, completely miserable. Every single waking moment. My entire YouTube comment section was filled with hate comments. My entire Twitch chat was filled with hate comments. Like, everything that I would say, everything that I would do would be wrong, right? Literally just became like a fucking a pinata for like everyone to like beat on and like make fun of, you know? Like, essentially what happened in Brazil is like, you guys see what's happening to Pirate Software right now, like online? Imagine that, but the league equivalent version, and that was like my Brazil, you know? Like, and it wasn't even just like while I was there too, like the aftermath of like people sitting there and thinking that was like literally the worst player alive and all that shit, like it persisted for literal months. Like, it was genuinely horrible. I'm just glad that nowadays enough time passed that it's like it blew over, but that shit was literally like fuck. No, that was like legitimately horrible. I'm new here what happened. So tldr, I had gone to Brazil with a team of friends that I had had at the time, and it was comprised of a lot of people that were like stereotypically viewed as like toxic creators, so to speak. But I thought that if we were in person and we were like competing for a challenge, which the challenge was that we were participating in the biggest Brazilian like content creator tournament, that it would be like really, really fun and really hype. And then after about a week of being in there, the organizer of the event canceled the tournament. And then I decided to make my own. But throughout the entire time, it's like our team was failing miserably in scrims every single day. And I was the one that was getting like blamed for legitimately everything. Like, legitimately everything. Like, the most insane shit ever would happen, right? That my teammates would be doing. And then it would be like, oh yeah, but Dantes, you could have been doing this. And it was like, literally, it was absolutely miserable. Absolutely miserable. And then, pretty much like, since I shared communities at the time with a lot of the other like members of the team, every time they would like talk shit about me or say that like I was playing bad, whatever, their entire communities that were also part of my community like would turn on me and would hate me. So then it's like it was filled with like comment sections everywhere shitting on me. I'm the worst player alive. Like it was genuinely terrible. And throughout that entire time, I was trying to organize a tournament of my own for our team and the rest of the Brazilian community since like the Brazilian one got cancelled. And after legitimately the first set of matches, I started eating shit on Twitter from the Brazilians, right? Because they got mad that I made my team go through the first round because every single team like drew. Like, there were supposed to be 3 teams getting eliminated, and the bottom scorers, there were only like 2 that weren't like tied with each other. So we played like 3 series of tiebreakers and we tied every single time. So I said, okay, every team goes through. And then they started shitting on me on Twitter. And when I fired back, they started to call me like, they said I had like white savior complex and that I was like a fucking like I was like this racist and all that kind of shit. And it was like fucking terrible. Like, it was absolutely fucking miserable. Literally by far the worst experience of, like, one of the worst experiences of my entire life. I've had worse like individual experiences, but as like a collective experience that spanned over the course like literal weeks, I would say that was like that's way up there. Like one of really the worst things ever. Remember when they changed rules on you without even talking to you was fucking insane? Yeah, no, like I'm telling you, that experience was literally next level. Like, it's like I'm telling you guys, the reason why I don't often talk about it on stream, and it's very rare, is because every time I do, it literally like fills me with such bad feelings and negative thoughts. It's like it was like legitimately traumatizing, unironically. Like legitimately traumatizing. It was actually fucking terrible. Would you just drop out after round 1 if you could redo Brazil? If I could redo Brazil, honestly what I would have done is I would have not organized any tournaments of my own at all. And I would have just said, alright guys, I rescheduled my flight back. I'm flying back 2 weeks after the starting date. And I'm I'm just gonna play solo queue and try it for challenger end of season until then. But then when I'm back in NA, we're doing a Dantes challenger race. That's what I would have done. Or I would have flown to EU and done a Dantes challenger race EU edition. If I could redo it. But at the time, part of the reason why I wanted to stay there was because we had legitimately spent like across the team, it was like tens of thousands of dollars. Like, I'm just gonna comment on this because it was genuinely so fucked up what happened, right? And I never commented on it before, but I'm gonna comment on it now. But when I was even making the tournament, right, the content creator tournament, there were things that were supposed to happen that just never fucking happened. Okay, so for example, at one point there was supposed to be an official event, right, organized by the Brazilians, where we'd play in an in-person tournament against like one of their teams. I think IDL or some shit. They just said fuck off, right? Like eventually they just didn't, and we just never did anything with them, right? Then there was supposed to be a thing where I'd contacted a bunch of people from the IDL team, and I was like, yo, can we actually like play with you? Do you guys want to join the tournament? And they were literally blackballed from their org. Their org was saying you're not allowed playing in their tournament because I guess they were afraid that the Gringo Lao would get more hype than the Cibo Lao. Like even the organizers, right, that were literally coming over to our place like every week to use it as like party fucking central, right? Even they were like fucking us over, you know? So it's like it was literally like, imagine getting fucked on all fronts, you know, like that's literally what Brazil was. It was fucking cancer. And then like the streamers, right, that I included in the Gringo Lao as well, they were going behind my back and shit talking me too. It's like anyone that would hear it, you know, like the Brazilian streamers, the Brazilian streamer community, you know, it's like it was legitimately fucking like atrocious, absolutely fucking atrocious. So that's why it's like when it comes to am I ever going to organize events again? Fuck no. Literally fuck no. Like never again. Ever. After that, never. Didn't you also get fucked on PCs and shit too? Yeah. Like, dude, we literally got fucked on all fronts. When I tell you we got fucked on all fronts, we got fucked on literally all fronts ever. And then I was the one taking the fall for literally everything as well. Like, so imagine I'm sitting there, right? And it's like, I'm like, oh yeah, we're going to do this thing that's going to be like really hype for us. And then the only thing that ends up happening is I get an infinite amount of cancer. And then I get like a bunch of people talking about how shit I am. When behind the scenes, I'm literally dealing with like the most cancer shit ever known to man because of like the tournament organizing and everything. Like I literally made an entire tournament from scratch over the course of literally 4 days. An entire tournament with the rule set with like a cast of people and everything, you know? No, like that shit, guys, like I'm telling you. It was like legitimately next level. Like actually next level. Because you guys want to know, do you guys want to hear something really like fucked up and sad? Honestly. I still remember my saddest experience in Brazil at one point was when I had met a fan in real life for the first time. So we're at a mall, okay? And this guy, he sees us and we're walking around and he sees us, right? And he's like, yo, you're Dantes, right? And I was like, yeah, I am. And he's like, oh, fuck, bro. Like, I'm so happy you came here. Like, can we get a picture? You know? And he was so fucking nice. And I remember that in that moment, I genuinely felt so fucking sad because I was just thinking to myself, wow, this positive experience right here, right now, should have literally been what the entire trip was like. We should have been playing in-person like stadiums and shit like that with the Cibo Lao, and we should have been meeting fans, having meet and greets, and literally having the experience of our lives where it's just an overall super pleasant, super nice thing. But instead, what was it? It was a shit show where everyone just viewed me as the fucking like the piñata, right? And not just like when it came to like my team looking for people to blame, but then also for the fucking for like for other shit too, you know, like when the tournament didn't go like as it was planned, and then like the Gringo Lao failed and all that kind of shit. Like it was just legitimately like, you know, like wow, literally wow. But yeah, the thing is like when it comes to Brazil as like an entire region though, it wasn't that I had like a negative experience with the entire region or the people there. I'm just saying that in general, a lot of the content creators in there are 100% two-faced. But I mean, it's no different than anywhere else, right? Like in NA, EU, it's all the same shit. But it's like, it was that, and it was also the fact that like, shouldn't you have not been dogpiled on? You know, I'll never forget at one point we were having like a conversation. Um, and then I was sitting there and I was like, guys, please, like, it's actually like really getting too much. Like, please stop. And at one point, you know, it's like some people didn't get it. I'll just say that. Like, I don't want to bring up like anything, but it's like if you're watching the Brazil VODs and you're watching back then, like you'll remember. You know what I mean? And it was just not pleasant. Let's just say that. Really not pleasant. But I mean, in terms of like league creators that I still like keep up to date with on like a pretty regular basis, I'd say that nowadays I could count on like one hand, honestly. Would I have fingers left over? Let me think. Yeah, I would. So it's like nowadays the people that I still like talk to, in the league scene like fairly consistently, I could literally count it on one hand and have fingers left over. But that's why it's funny, you know, because it's like you're gonna sit there over the course of years, you'll meet like, but it's like that in every industry. Like I'm sure even you guys like know that too, you know, where it's like you go to a job and you can work there for like 15 years, and then at the end of the 15 years, when you think about like, so who was like all along like a chill real one? It's like it's a lot less than you know. Because there might have been some people that might have been real ones, but you just like never had that connection with them too, you know? But I would say like that connection that formed of like a real one connection over the course of years, yeah, I could count on one hand. Like literally one hand. I thought the toxic streamers thing was on purpose to get content out of it. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was because at the time I genuinely considered like all them as friends. Um I mean, most of them to this day I still do, right? Um, but at the time, I just consider them all as like, or at the time, I consider them all as like friends and shit. So that's why I was like, I think it's gonna be like a really fun thing, you know. I mean, he's forced salt, no? Now we can just run. I think we could easily fight this. I'll even pop ghost, just like secure. Nice. Hearing all this shit makes me sad, and I hope it didn't disgust you from doing any international events. Well, from doing international events, listen. So I talked about this a lot in the past, but the issue, especially as like a content creator, with creating events, is that a lot of the time when you do that, you're essentially going to a firing range and you're giving everybody like ammunition in their gun, but you don't know which ones of them are gonna one day turn that ammunition on you and try to kill you. You know what I mean? That's like essentially the thing. Because like there are people that were never even a part of Brazil, you know, that I had done content with over the course like literally months or years, that all it takes is them seeing one opportunity to shit on me and they take it instantly, you know, so that they can garner a couple thousand likes on Twitter, you know. So that's why it's like it's a thing where for me the whole idea of like, oh yeah, let's do something great as a community, it's like go fuck yourself nowadays, you know. It's like I'll do something with a few people. Like nowadays with my team, for example, my team for the OQs, part of the reason why all of them are a part of it is because genuinely every single one of them is like a positive personality. And I know you guys think I'm crazy for saying that about tfblade too, but unironically when it came to Brazil, tfblade was literally like, I would say out of everyone, the most understanding guy, you know? The most understanding and like down to earth and chill guy, you know, out of like literally everybody there, and myself included, you know. So that's why it's like when I formed my team for the OQs, I made it a priority. I was like, we're not gonna have a cinema team, you know. It's like that's not what we're going for. We're going for a team that's gonna be a good vibe and that'll be like competitive. You know what I mean? Like that was the goal with it. So that's why it's like nowadays I'll do stuff like that, you know, or occasionally I might do like a little like a tiny collab here or there, you know, with people that I like or shit. But it's like never again is it gonna be ever on the extent of that, you know. I don't mind being a part of organized events. You know, like if someone tells me, for example, when agurin told me, "Do you want to come to Germany and be a part of this like the NNO like streamer tournament?" I said, "Yeah, I'm down." But it's like in terms of creating it myself, fuck no, absolutely never again. Like there's a reason why this shit happens, because the problem is that the community literally ruins it. Because streamers get to a point where it's like they're in there and they get so narrow minded that it's like if they disagree with something, they're just super vocal about it because they know, like, oh, if a drama happens and I'm in the right, I can get more viewers, right? But then what ends up happening is you just de incentivize the people that create the fucking tournaments from ever doing them again. You know? So then in the long run, it's legitimately just league streamers killing their own fucking scene. That's literally what it is. You know? Like, unironically, that's literally what it is. It's just, like, so cancer. Just don't make stupid decisions, though. Yeah, but the problem is that that doesn't exist. Because no matter if a decision is stupid or not, there are going to be 100% two sides, and the side that disagrees with you is going to just think the tournament is, like, all for nothing, you know? And then it just, like, loses all credibility. That's the reason why when the Gringo Wow shit happened, it's like, I didn't even want to participate anymore. Because I knew it was just, like, what's the point? At this point, I think the funniest thing ever that I realized at one point was that in the entire Brazil arc, there was only one person, one streamer that actually made long-term gain and ended up gaining a lot from the Brazil arc. There was one streamer. And he didn't even go to Brazil. It was Nemesis. Because he would sit there reacting to the scrims, reacting to the games, reacting to everything. And legitimately, I shit you not, like his numbers would like 2 to 3x every time. You know, it was crazy. So that's why I think if I ever do anything, I'm probably never going to do anything again. But I know for a fact that like that whole thing of like allowing co-streaming, it's just not worth doing. Because like you have to understand that part of the problem too with like the League community is that the League community is very, 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 very weird because of how hyper fixated not only the streamers but the viewers are on the idea of competition, right? Is this guy better than you? Is that guy better than you? Who's the better one? Is this guy better at this champ than you? Is that guy better than you? Oh, this guy you're dueling with, is he better than you? This guy's on a loss streak. Is he washed now? This guy's on a win streak. Is he the best player in the world? Like, who's better? Who's the best top laner? Who's the best jungler? Who's the best person that has ever touched the game? Who's the GOAT of all time? You know, it's like, it's legitimately just such a constant questions. And I'm telling you, it's like, it just makes it so that over time, streamers come to realize, like, streamers just come to realize where it's like, it's just like, you know, it becomes like this solo-oriented mindset, you know, where you're like, okay, well, I need to make my thing the best possible or else it's fucked.